Welcome to the Entrepreneur Podcast, where we take a look inside the lives of the accomplished and successful businessmen and women. We'll get up close and personal with the founders of booming startups. So lean in and prepare to carry away something to skyrocket your own business. Please subscribe to our show and do leave us a review. It means a lot to us. Now, here's your host, Rajiv.
Hey listeners, welcome to the Entrepreneur Talk Show. I'm your host Rajiv Unikrishnan, and this is a show where we talk about entrepreneurship and speak to great founders, entrepreneurs, and investors. Today we have with us Joni Ostwin, co-founder Arto, an algorithm-based mobile art recommendation engine. Welcome, Joni.
Thank you, Rajiv.
Just a brief intro. Joni has been associated with the telecom industry since 1999, and along with being the co-founder Arto, he's also the head of partnerships at ViewClip, SEA, and prior to that, he held roles at Spotify and eBuddy and other places too. Again, Joni, welcome to the show. Do let me know if there are any gaps in the intro, and do let us know what's going on in your world today.
Yeah, no, I will absolutely do so. My pleasure. Yeah.
All right. So, what's happening? What's going on at the present with you, Joni?
Well, we're very busy right now with the whole Arto project. Actually, you said that that I currently am heading up the partnerships for ViewClip, but I actually stopped doing that because I don't have any time anymore, and now focusing 100% or even more than 100% on Arto.
I was wondering how you did those two things together. It's practically impossible.
Yeah, it was. So,
Yeah.
and I like both, and I tried to combine it as much as possible, but I couldn't anymore.
All right. So before we get into the business part of it, any passions outside of work? Do you get time for anything outside of work, rather?
Well, I really like sports, so I do try to make time for sports.
Okay.
So I try to run twice a week, like 5, 6, 7, sometimes 10K. It's always great to just clear your mind.
Of course.
It also gives you a natural high. So, when you're down and then you go for a 5K run or 7K run, then it gives you a positive feeling afterwards. So that's my drug, so to say. And then I also like a lot ball sports like soccer and tennis and that kind of stuff.
Oh, great. I'm a runner too. I go running, I think, five times a week.
Oh, wow. That's
And
okay. Yeah.
And it's the same. It's this absolute same. It's like total endorphin release,
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
I think I can recommend it to anybody. It's,
Absolutely.
yeah. And you can do it everywhere.
Yep. And so what, coming to the product, of course, what inspired the idea for Arto?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I started to think about this when I moved from one apartment to another apartment here in Singapore where I live, and then I needed a piece of art to hang on my wall. So I as everybody else would do, you go online, you Google, and then I was actually thinking like, okay, but what do I need to search for? What am I going to type in the search box? And I was thinking like, what art that I like, or and then I was thinking like, what kind of art do I like? And then I didn't know how to describe the type of art I really liked, and then so then I was thinking, I had that moment of like, hey, this experience of searching for art, it should be the same as that Spotify is doing with music recommendation.
Correct.
Because at that time I was working for Spotify, and Spotify was at that time very, very focused on the recommendation. And I was like, how convenient would it be, and how easy would it be if you just open an app and then there is art recommended for you based on your tastes and preferences. That got me thinking, and I was like, and I asked a lot of people like, can you describe your art taste? And then a lot of people, they said, no, not really. I don't really know, but they said, well, I know if I see it. And then I was like, hey, I know if I see it. I'm like, so they, if we show an image first and then they like it or dislike it, that is a good way for us to learn about the user's art when it's art based.
Correct.
So that's how I actually came up with that whole interface, where we show you an image, you swipe left or right. If you swipe right, you like it. If you swipe left, then you don't like it. And the more you swipe, the better we understand what your taste is, then the better we can recommend you then your next art piece.
Oh, great. So what would the vision be for the company then?
Yeah, so the vision is that we want to make it super easy for basically for anybody, for the mass market, to discover and buy art. Because what we learned is that a lot of people, when they think about art, is like, art is something, you can only enjoy it when you are an expert, or you need to study for this, or you need to be some kind of a collector. But actually, so that the art scene can be quite intimidating, so to say. And we want to break down that barrier and show that art is for everybody. It's not for just like a few people. It's for everybody. So we want to basically democratize this.
Oh, great. So, when you thought of the idea, was it only you to take this off the ground? Do you have any co-founders, or is it just you as a single founder?
No, actually, I started off with a co-founder. He actually, after a few months, decided not to pursue.
Okay.
Because he didn't think he could combine it with his work currently at that time.
Correct.
And then I thought, you know what, I think it's a great idea. I just go ahead with it. So right now it's just me. It has its advantages and disadvantages. You can take all the decisions yourselves, but sometimes you would like to have somebody to bounce off some ideas. But yeah.
All right. So in terms of the product, I mean, it's mobile first, and you also have a web interface. So how does it work from the seller side and from the buyer side?
Yeah, it's a good question, because what we are is we have two value propositions. So the first one is towards the consumer, which I explained. It's the art recommendation and discovery of art. The second one is towards the independent artist and the galleries. So independent artists and galleries, they can upload their artworks onto our platform. So create an account, upload the work, and we index that with our recommendation engine, and then we stream that to the user that likes that artwork. So let's say if you like black and white photography from New York City, then I look in my database which artist or which gallery provides that type of photography, black and white photography that you like, and then we stream that to you. So that's how it works. So it's in essence it's a marketplace as well, and the business model is that we take a transaction fee for every time something is sold through our.
So the artists and the museums are from. I mean, it's from a global mix, so it's from a certain area.
No, it's actually a global mix. So we work with online galleries and offline galleries, both here in the Southeast Asia region, but also in Europe.
Okay.
And we also work with some museums from Europe, the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam. Mm-hmm. The Singapore Art Museum, and the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C.
Oh, great!
So, yeah,
and I mean, you have sections on your site like the RT Knowledge and the blog. I mean, do you update this regularly?
Yeah, so we do update this regular, because we also think that it's important for the consumer to learn more about their art taste, to find out actually what their art taste is. So, like I said in the beginning, you come in and you don't know where to start, you don't know what you want. But we hope that the more you use this, the better you understand your own art taste. And I always use the analogy with like wine drinking. When you start drinking wine, you actually only know that you have white wine and red wine.
Great.
And then you're like, okay, hey, I like actually more white wine. And then you understand, hey, with white wine, I have sweet and dry. And then like, okay, dry, I prefer dry. And then you go into the grapes, and then with dry you have Sauvignon or
Correct.
Chardonnay, and then you go to the next level. So, and I think with art it's the same thing. So every time you take a little step, and that's we try to guide our users through this through this journey.
Okay. So the algorithm, of course, it's based on a kind of a la Tinder with the swiping. So was that developed by you since you're a mobile guy, or you have your own team or a technology guy head who does that?
Yeah, so I have a own team. I myself, I am absolutely not a technical guy.
Okay.
So I've been the last 12 years. I've been working in the mobile internet industry, but always on the commercial side. So always
okay.
like sales, business development. So I don't know anything about coding, but I found like this great developer, and he loved the product, and he has a bit of equity in the company as well, and.
Okay.
And he really liked the recommendation engine, so he actually developed the recommendation engine. And basically what we do with the recommendation engine right now, it's I mean, we're just starting, so it's very standard in point of like artificial intelligence point of view. But we're trying to make it more smart, like an artificial intelligence machine learning.
Yep. It takes time, I guess. You learn more. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, so in terms of growth, some stats are maybe old, but you have 15,000 plus high-res images of artworks in your database, and you expect to grow to 50,000 by the end of the year. On track for that, or far surpass that?
Yeah, no, that is on track.
Okay.
So we think it's very important to have a lot of good quality images. So as soon as you open the app, you need to have the feeling that we have any type of art that you can imagine.
Correct.
So we have classical masterpieces like Vincent van Gogh, but we also have street art like Banksy and pop art like Andy Warhol, and then everything in between. And then I think the beauty as well is that we have a lot of like unknown artists.
Correct. Discovery.
So So if you like Andy Warhol, then we can provide you with artists that have similar work like Andy Warhol.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Yep. I mean, in terms of competition, I mean, I guess there's no one locally, but I mean, you have these different guys who are global. So, I mean, is it a tough space to be in?
No, at the moment it isn't actually. I have the feeling that I mean there are a lot of online art galleries. You have a few big ones like art.com and Saatchi Art. They focus mainly on US and Western Europe.
Correct.
I think you have a big one in India, which is called Saffron Art. And then there is a big one here in Southeast Asia, here in Singapore, which is called the Artling.
Okay.
They just raised like 1.8 million a couple of months ago.
Mm-hmm.
But they are not really competitors in terms of that we could actually also work with them because we can work with online and offline galleries. So we're a bit like, see it as like a Lazada or Amazon, where we have our own products, but a merchant can also, plug into our platform and sell through our channel.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have to say that we are actually pretty unique with that recommendation. So all of the art sites and online art galleries, they don't have this recommendation engine.
Correct. You just have to browse and select. That's right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, you did raise some a six-figure round from a group of angels in, I think, Q4 2015. I mean, any plans of raising any more money or a Series A, maybe?
Yeah, we're actually right now we are discussing with some VCs and some other angels for a seed fund.
Okay.
For seed round. So yeah, I hope to finish that within the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
But you never know. The devil is in the details.
Yes.
But, so yeah. But we're working hard
And
on
that's
that.
going to be used, I mean, whenever that closes for primarily for marketing or
Yeah,
product?
marketing is going to be a big part, but also we don't have an Android app yet.
Correct.
So that is something that's in
Definitely.
the pipeline. Yeah.
Okay. In terms of, I mean, you've been with so many, I mean, you've done corporate gigs before. So when did you know you were meant for entrepreneurship?
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually I found out at a very late stage, and I always had this thought and feeling that how would it be to have your own startup? So I worked for like a lot of like small startups, like where I was the number 4 or number 8. But never really, been at the helm and my own startup. So, when I was at Spotify, then I was like, and I had this idea and this idea for this art recommendation. It didn't go away. I was like, yeah, maybe maybe I should just try it. Maybe
Okay.
what the hell? Let's just try it. And if it goes wrong, if I fail, then then so be it. But at least I've tried it, and
Of course.
at least I know how it is. And then I will, when I'm on my deathbed, I will not regret the fact that I have never done it.
Absolutely.
So that's actually when I was at Spotify, it happened, and I was like, yeah, let's do it.
All right. So over time, who's inspired you?
Oh, who has inspired me? Wow, that's a tough one. I have to say that that I don't have like a hero kind of figure
Correct.
that I look at, but I think it's more like my friends and my families, and of course I've read the biographies of the usual suspects. But
Correct.
you read it, but it's not that it gets like a big inspiration or something.
Correct.
But yeah, probably the most inspiration I got from like the founders of the small startups I was working for.
Correct. And what's some of the best advice you've been given over time?
Yeah, I think probably the best advice that was from my host father in the US. So
Okay.
when I graduated high school in Holland, I didn't really know what I wanted to study. And then I went to the US for a year to do an exchange program. And he, we discussed, and he told me, a good job to start is in sales. And I thought about it, I was like, yeah. So, and then the first job after, I graduated from university, I took a sales job, and then I was like, yeah, wait, this is actually really cool. You get a lot of freedom, and it actually also fitted really my personality. So,
Correct. Okay. I mean, so at present, any launch or feature set coming out that's getting you and the team really excited?
Yeah. So what we actually just launched is a Chromecast module
Okay.
into the app, or probably once this podcast goes live, then that Chromecast feature is also live. As you said, we're mobile focused, so you have to download our app in order to see and to see the images, the art images.
Correct.
And I was thinking, I can imagine that it might be like a small screen to look at the art image and get all the details. So then I thought, would there be a way to would be very nice to see it on your TV screen. So right now you can already cast it to your TV through an app. TV, and in about a week, 2 weeks from now, it will also be for Chromecast.
Oh, great!
And then basically you can turn your TV into a digital canvas, you will have your recommended art on your TV, and it changes every.
like a
20
screensaver.
seconds.
All right, great.
Yeah, exactly.
Great.
Yeah. So actually, what Chromecast already has with this backdrop, you will have it, but then personalized to your art taste.
Oh, great. That would be great. So where do you see yourself and your business in the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, I don't know. So I think either I'm bankrupt and I'm having another job or another startup, or we will be one of the leading art marketplaces, digital art marketplaces in the world. And of course, I hope the latter one. But yeah, looking at the signs, looking at the feedback, looking at the market developments. The art market, the online art market is growing. I have a very good feeling that we will become the leading art marketplace.
Great, all the best with that. So,
yeah, thank you.
Moving on, we come to a part of the show which is like a quick fire round, simple, brief answers, right?
Yeah.
So when people ask you, what do you do? How do you answer that?
So I say I have my own company, and I create a app that helps people to discover art.
Great. What's the first word that comes to mind when I say work?
Work, fun, yeah.
Family?
Family is far away. They are in Holland.
Okay. Entrepreneurship?
Entrepreneurships, ups and downs.
Technology?
Technology is change. Yeah.
Food?
Food is yum.
And book?
Book, yes, for a pleasure. Yeah.
All right. What piece of tech you can't live without?
What piece of tech? That's got to be the plane. Yeah. If it wasn't for the plane, then I wouldn't been living the lifestyle I've been living and doing what I've been doing right now.
Correct. So what do you excel at that people might not realize?
I'm actually very good in squash.
Oh, okay.
But it's a pity because not a lot of people play it anymore.
Right.
But I love it. Yeah.
And your favorite city globally?
That's got to be Barcelona. Yeah.
Oh, that's same here, but it's a mix between New York and Barcelona.
Yeah. So actually, I have the same. It's like it's they're both pretty close. Yeah.
Finally, any last thought or piece of advice that you want to give our listeners, Joni?
I think if you want to start a startup, then better sooner than later. I think I waited pretty long, and I think the longer you wait, the more difficult it gets because of all the financial commitments that you get when you get older. When you're younger, then it's all easier. So I would say, that if you have a good idea, then think about it, but then take a decision and try it.
All right, great. Please let our listeners know how they can reach you and also Arto.
Well, they can follow me on Twitter.
Okay.
At Joni, Jonie. And they can also go to our website, which is www.arto.gallery.
Great. Again, Joni, thanks for taking the time to talk to us, inspiring our listeners to start their own ventures, and all the very best in building Arto.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
All right, listeners, do visit arto.gallery and also download the app on the App Store and visit us at theasianentrepreneur.com to get the show notes and leave a review on your thoughts about this show. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode. In the meantime, head over to theasianentrepreneur.com and check out show notes and other information to motivate you in your entrepreneurial endeavors.